सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Deepraj, how to empathize with others? Is it a part of Bhakti Yoga or the effect of Bhakti Yoga? Empathizing with others is a result of reduction of desires. Bhakti Yoga. Wait, aren't you in the wrong class today? This is tomorrow's question, not today's question. You won't have a question for tomorrow. Why don't we take it up tomorrow? Tomorrow, right? Bhakti Yoga. Today is not question answer. Today is renunciation. Okay. I mean, we can take it, but tomorrow we have a whole session for these questions. Right.
Chanki ji, last time we left the story of Durvasa and Krishna incomplete.
Yes. But I think everybody in this class knows the story now. Nobody new is there this time. Everybody knows the story in this class? Durvasa and Krishna? No, Mamita? Okay. So
yes, I know.
Yeah. So, so Durvasa had come and he had set up camp on the other side of the river Yamuna, and all of Krishna's wives, that means 16,000 odd of them, wanted to go and pay respects to the sage. So they went to Krishna and said, can we go? So he said, of course, please go. So they went. But when they came to Yamuna, Yamuna wasn't spayed. There was a flood there. So they couldn't cross. So they went to Krishna and they said, we can't cross. Tell us how to get to the sage. So he said, he's very naughty, right? So he went, he says, go to the, what do you call it? The river Yamuna, and say to Yamuna, hey Mate Yamuna, if Durvasa is a Nitya Upavasi, then open up and let us go. So remember, these were 16,000 wives, the wives of the royal prince, going to meet a sage. Even when you go to meet anybody, you carry something, right? Now the wives of the royalty, 16,000 of them, carrying gifts. What gift will you carry for a sage? You can't carry clothes and all. What will you do with them? So you carry food. All the mithais of the world, the best cuisines, Thai and Japanese and everything, whatever it was. They carried this, all their plates and all their sevaks, and they sent to the river. Actually, I'm saying this wrong. Am I saying this wrong?
I think they said if Krishna is Nitya Brahmachari, if Krishna is Brahmachari, then you give us the way.
Yes.
So he had 16,000 wives, but still he was calling himself Brahmachari.
Very good. Thank you. Yes, that's correct. So he said, go to the river and say, hey, Mata Yamuna, if Krishna is a Nitya Brahmachari, open up and let us pass. And the story goes that the waters opened up, like the waters of Moses, like the Red Sea, it all opened up. And all this retinue of 16,000 wives went through of a Nitya Brahmachari. And then they went to Durvasa, and Durvasa ate all the food that all the 16,000 wives had brought for him. And then they were coming back. But the Yamuna wasn't spayed. So they went back to Durvasa and said, oh my God, it's got late at night. We women, we can't stay out late at night. How do we cross the Yamuna? So the story goes that Sage Durvasa says to them, go to the river and say, hey Mate Yamuna, if Durvasa is a Nitya Upavasi, open up and let us pass. And the story goes that the river opens up and lets them pass. So, moral of this story is what? You can have 16,000 wives and be a Nitya Brahmachari. You can eat all the food provided by 16,000 women, royal women, and be a Nitya Upavasi. You understand Upavasi, right? A fasting person. So it all sounds ridiculous, right? How is that possible? That is the concept of renunciation in India. Now, this is what is it coming out of? That is what we have to understand. Okay? This is the story. Now, let us go through the logic of it. Go step by step. So, if you think of this story, is there renunciation because they were not in contact with those objects? No. Is it that they were not anywhere near the objects? No, the objects were all with them. Is it that they did not, the objects were there, but they didn't contact? Like they'd gone to a pub, but they didn't actually drink. Was it that? No. The objects were there and they contacted those objects. See, Durvasa ate all that food, all of it. Right? Then is it that they practiced some kind of moderation about it? Okay, they were in contact, but you have to be in moderation. No, it wasn't moderation either. Because 16,000 wives and 16,000, God knows how many plates of food, there is no moderation over it. Then what makes them a Nitya Upavasi or a Nitya Brahmachari? Now, the answer to that question is renunciation. So, if you really think about it, Vedanta is another word for renunciation. Renunciation is another word for Vedanta. Because if you got this, you got everything. And the consequence of getting everything is you are a happy person, you're a productive person, and you are an evolving person. So this is the crux of it. If you have to say, what is Vedanta? What is the crux of it? And the crux of it is renunciation. Okay. Is it so far so good? So far so good. We know what it is. Not. We've only studied that so far. What have we studied that it is not? It is not abstinence. That means you're not contacting the object. You're nowhere near the object. You know, there are some swamis who do not enter a room if there is a lady there. Are you aware of this? They won't enter the room if the lady is there. Is that renunciation? No. You can enter the room where the lady is there. Okay, so you can enter the room, but you must not talk to her, okay? No, you can talk to her also. Okay, you talk to her, talk in moderation. You get 5-10 minutes, no more. No, there's no such rule. You can talk as much as you want. If all this is true, then what is renunciation? It's neither abstinence. It is not going away. It is not contacting. It is not moderation. Then what is it? Now that is what we're going to study. Okay, Komal, you have a question? Don't say what is it because we're about to study that.
Yeah, not that. Just wanted to share my experience. Like I was in Rishikesh for quite a long time, and I've been in contact with those sages and swamis and of Kailash Ashram. It's a very, very old ashram, Kailash Ashram in Rishikesh. But when I used to go there, like they were teaching me as untouchable only, the way you are saying. They'll not talk to me, they'll not allow me inside, they'll not allow me to serve them food. If I'm passing this way, they'll go that way. But did they not understand what is that? Like they such a old ashram studying Vedanta from so long, so they didn't have an idea of what is actual renunciation or what.
Any institution has its rules, whatever rules they want to make. That's up to them, based on what their teacher says and what are the needs of that
But
community.
what they must have understood, according to that only they must have made
But
those
see,
rules.
like every ashram you go, they'll put some rule or the other. Now, why they put that rule, God alone knows. That you have to ask them.
I used to feel quite. Then I went to another ashram. Like there is one more ashram, Dayanand ashram there. There everything is like I can go, I can talk, and all. Then I got connected to them more. Then I left this one. They are creating so much of discrimination and all. मेरे तो नहीं समझ में आता है इनकी बात. Then I went to that, and the same teachings are there. They are also studying the same thing. They are also studying the same thing, but their way of dealing was quite different.
Yeah,
So
I mean, that's individual, whatever. But what we have to understand is that it has nothing to do with renunciation. That is their rules, their custom, whatever. There's so many customs.
There may have been some reason behind it.
Yeah.
Okay,
but this is not renunciation. Renunciation is different. That is what we have to understand.
Yeah. Okay.
Even when we start the universities, kuch na kuch rules to lagayenge, na? We cannot live in chaos. So at some point, somebody will say, oh, but that is not renunciation. But who's saying it's renunciation? We have to put rules because otherwise we as a community cannot function together. So kuch hua hoga past mein, abhi wo chale ja raha hai. You know that story about the guru's cat?
I know it. Yes. It's just the conditioning, and just because it happened, and so it is. They are continuing it, not giving a second thought to it. You don't want to give it whatever it is. Yes, fine.
Sorry, what story is that, Sankiji?
Oh, you not heard Bharat? We haven't said it in class at all, is it? That there was a guru. That guru had a cat. Now this cat used to jump onto the lap of the master when he was in class. So now obviously when he is giving his discourse, the cat is not allowed to jump onto his lap and mew and sleep and all, right? So before the class would start, before the pravachan would start, he would tie up the cat or close him in the room, right? And then he would do the satsang and then he would release the cat. Now, the guru passed away. Then the next guru took on, he also did the same thing. He would lock the cat up or tie a cat up. Then after some time, the cat passed away. Then what happened is they said, Arey, how can we do satsang now? Because we don't have a cat to tie up before satsang starts. So they got a cat and they would tie up the cat before satsang starts. And this is how so it became a tradition with them that never will they do satsang without tying up a cat. That's the story of the cat, which is exactly what happens in spiritual life. For some reason, somebody does something, a guru does something for some reason, and thereafter, it is all Ram Bharose what anyone makes out of it. Okay, Bharat? You never heard the story of the cat?
No, I haven't. But a reminder to untie the cat after class today.
Yes. Yeah, little kitty meow, we have to remember to let go. Now, this is the sad state of most religious institutions, unfortunately. It will be our state also, so don't sit on a high throne and say, oh, we are not like that. We will also become like that. It's just a question of time. When it starts, everything is aligned to the truth. And as years pass, whatever, changes will take place. We will not be there, but Bhavna will be there. So Bhavna, you will have to hold on to the actual truths. And ensure that there is somebody after you also to hold on to the actual truths. Say 50, 100 years later, we don't know what it will be. We will have started something in good faith. Uske baad Ram bharose. Yeah, Deep Raj, you raised your hand. You're also going to be in charge, right, of keeping everything going properly.
So this thing, Vedanta is supposed to culminate into
Sorry, I unmuted you by error. Please unmute yourself.
Okay, all right. So it's supposed to culminate in renunciation. So after renunciation, how does one go from renunciation to self-realization?
Meditation.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
it. It's quite easy, right? Come to renunciation, then meditate, and you realize this is what's complicated. Very easy. That's it. Only thing is the right statement be study of Vedanta culminates in renunciation, because Vedanta and renunciation is the same. I mean, if you're going to be technically correct, which we better train ourselves to be. Anything else? Anyone else?
Yeah, but doesn't it say that renunciation is higher than meditation, in the sense the last thought has to be dropped? So isn't that the renunciation? I think there's a verse in the Gita also where it says higher than
Yeah. Open
meditation is
it, Mahesh, and read. Don't rely on your memory. Read what it says carefully. You can ask that question tomorrow, because it's in tomorrow's chat. Renunciation is better than meditation, meaning renunciation. Finish the sentence.
dropping the last thought. I thought that was what renunciation.
Okay, but what does the text say?
I don't know the.
The last line,
Yeah.
peace immediately follows renunciation.
Okay, the line before that. Read. Don't. That's why, Mahesh, never think without having the text in front of you. Open it. Open the verse. Read the verse. What does the verse say? What does the verses say? Read them. Or actually, you can do it tomorrow. Now, okay, for your information only today, and we'll discuss it further tomorrow, is what is better than meditation is karma phala tyagam. Giving up the fruit of action. The fruit of action of meditation is wanting self-realization. So when you give up that is realization. That's why it says peace immediately follows. That renunciation is renunciation of the fruit of action. In the case of meditation, the fruit of action is self-realization. Okay, now any further thing on that we can do tomorrow, because it's directly connected to tomorrow's text. Momita, how can we enjoy the toys we have outgrown?
No, because you said that renunciation does not mean we don't enjoy. We have enjoyment. So, but I don't see myself enjoying playing with toys once I've outgrown them.
But are you miserable now? You're not enjoying the toys. What are you enjoying? You're enjoying the higher joys, whatever you have got. And if under certain conditions, you have to play with toys, like Anshul was a young boy and you played with him with whatever toys, with his dinky cars and whatever you played. So were you miserable playing with him?
No, I did enjoy it. Okay. Okay.
Now, of course, he has grown up and he is writing out software programs for Vedanta Wisdom Trust. Now those days are gone. Amazing, no? We become like one giant joint family, I think. Everybody is sort of now related to various projects in various ways. And you know how those old joint family systems were, that each person was related to you in 3-4 different ways. We are becoming like that now. Now Momita is not just Momita who looks after publications. She's also the mother of the person who handles the software for the journal. You know, all this, how it used to be complicated in the past case. ये मेरी बुआ भी लगती है Or mami bhi lagti hai, something like that it used to be. We are also becoming like that now. Satsang host. Satsang host, who satsang host? This is Mahesh or Omkar? Omkar?
Yes.
The concept of not reveling in the thoughts of an enjoyment after it's over, to not create further desires for it, is also a form of renunciation. No. Renunciation is not any form of practice. It is a state of being. You're not doing anything. You're not practicing anything. If you automatically do this, then you're renounced automatically. Because now see, take the example of Momita playing Dinky Cars, playing with Anshul and Dinky Cars. She is finished now. The game is over. Anshul, that little boy Anshul, the 5-year-old Anshul, he will continue to think, oh, I had such a nice time. I should get more Dinky Cars, all this. But Momita, the mother, who has finished playing the same game with the child, she is not thinking of it any further. She is now going to do her cooking or run her business or whatever else in the world she does. So that's just her. That is the state of being. Renunciation is never a state of practice. It's always a state of being.
So renunciation is the effect, not the cause.
Yeah. So therefore, no practice. You're not doing anything in particular. You are what you are. That when that state is a particular state, you are said to be renounced.
Jagdish, just because we are on this topic, and I know it's a little out of context, can you throw some light on this idea of not reveling in the thoughts of an enjoyment after they are over, just for revision purposes?
You only ask the question and then you say.
Yeah, I know this. I know the idea, but I hope I know it correctly.
Not reveling means you are able to revel in everything. So you went for a movie with Sheetal and you all had a great time. Then you have to drive home. Now, why don't you enjoy the drive home? Then you'll reach home. Then you'll have a fight over something. Then why don't you enjoy the fight? Because what is a marriage without a fight? Then the fight is over. Fight means some debate. Shall we have dosa or shall we have idli? Now, husband and wife, they can fight on anything. So whether dosa or idli, finally some decision is taken. They had biryani. Okay. Then they had biryani. Now you had your biryani. Now you all have decided biryani. Now you all eat nicely together biryani. The fight about dosa and idli is over. Now you all eating biryani. So like every step forward, you just move on. You're doing what you're doing. You're not thinking about what all happened in the past, good or bad. Is that okay? Is that what you are asking for?
No, my understanding was that if you enjoyed the movie a lot and then you come back home and talk about it with your friends, and then the next day you meet a few other friends and you still talk about it, what a wonderful movie. My understanding was that if you keep doing this, you're creating further desires for another such movie, and this is something that you should avoid doing. You've enjoyed the movie, come out of it and not keep reveling in it all. I was referring to that concept. Or have I not got it right?
I don't know what exactly you mean. It's not that there's some rule that you should not speak of the movie. There's no such thing. But broadly speaking, what you're saying is true. But now if somebody does speak about the movie, then you cannot say, see, you're reveling in yesterday. Then that makes no sense, right? Because sometimes, suppose you say, oh, I saw this movie, whatever. I saw Les Miserables. Okay. And I really understood the point of being service oriented or to be a giver in life. And you want to inculcate those thoughts, right? So since you want to inculcate those thoughts, you stay with those thoughts. The idea is not to give a prescription of what to do or not to do. The idea is for us to understand causality. If there are thoughts you would like to keep, then you should think about them. And if there are thoughts you'd like to not keep, then you should discard them. You shouldn't, discard them and don't think about it. So if you want the thought, or suppose you've seen the movie and for you it's very inspiring or helps you think of the higher and you want all these things, then do it. If you don't want all this and you just say, oh, the popcorn was so good and I want more popcorn and I want more popcorn and you keep going like that, then you'll encourage thoughts for popcorn. So it's not that you shouldn't speak about the movie, but that you should always engage with thoughts which you would like to have, which may or may not be of the movie. Is that clear?
Yes, yes. But Jankeji, this was given as, may I say, a kind of a formula in one of the yajnas, where the discussion was about how to, in a way, reduce your desires by not creating further desires. Is that when you are in the samsara and you are enjoying the things of the world, after there is no restriction on enjoyment in the world, but one must avoid reveling and reliving those enjoyments so as to not create further vasana. I think that was my understanding, and that's
Yes.
the reference.
Yes, but understand causality, no? Yes, you're talking about chapter 2. Please go back and read your notes. Don't
Chapter
keep-
2, yeah. Okay.
Chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita, verse 64. You must know all this when you ask a question. Otherwise, the question doesn't get answered. So what is it? There are two things to do. It's a general question. You can talk, let's talk about it again tomorrow, since it's a general question now. And tomorrow we have scope for it. We'll do it tomorrow. Okay? You read it properly, and
Yes,
if you
yes.
still have a question, then we'll discuss it. Komal. It means the command of your life is in your hands and you can leave or catch anything anytime. I mean, yeah, the statement is true, but I don't know what you're referring to. Komal, you are putting things there and talking on the phone. No. Okay. The concept of renunciation describes a state but does not prescribe it. You cannot prescribe it. That's the whole deal. How can you tell a person, how can you prescribe to Anshul that he should, he's 5 years old, can you prescribe that it's time for you to get married? How can you do that? I mean, he doesn't know what you're talking about. He hasn't the faintest notion. So how can you prescribe renunciation? Renunciation is an effect. Renunciation is a state of being, always. Pravesh. It means not getting yourself engaged yourself with unnecessary things that intellect knows what is right or wrong. Pravesh, it is not anything you're practicing. It is what you are being. You are that. It is not that you're saying, I will not deal with this. It is that you will automatically not deal with it because that's your state. Just as now you are not dealing with things that you are renounced with. You're not thinking I should not relate to them. You simply don't relate to them. But everybody is asking what it is. Let us read the text now, what it is. It will tell us. But coming back to the point number 1. What is it? Does it mean isolation from society, retiring to secluded places? No. Does it mean that, okay, you can contact it, but don't enjoy it? No. Does it mean that you should enjoy it, but you can enjoy it, but enjoy in moderation? No. Then what on earth is it? Let us read the next paragraph. Who would like to volunteer to read the next paragraph?
I can read.
Please.
If the quantum of possession and enjoyment also is not related to renunciation, then what is renunciation? What is the difference between a materialistic, sensual person and a renunciate? This is the crux of the problem. Go over the above analysis carefully. It becomes evident that renunciation is not severance from the world, nor does it mean abstinence from possession and enjoyment, nor restriction and limitation imposed upon the quantum of possession and enjoyment. Hence, you could remain amidst people and prosperity. You could acquire, possess, and enjoy objects and beings without imposing any restriction or limitation, and yet be a renunciate. If one is allowed to enjoy all these liberties, what then does confer the status of renunciation upon an individual? You can find that out by studying your own past experiences in life. So, is there a next paragraph, or do I just summarize this much?
Summarize this.
Okay. So it means that renunciation is neither of the three, nor discontact from like objects, nor contacting them and not enjoying them, and neither does it mean that you put a restriction on the quantum of like you put some restriction on the enjoyment or whatnot. What does allow us to understand what renunciation is by studying our own past experience.
In life. Very good. So what is our main idea, new idea which has been introduced to us in this topic? We have of course studied that it is not X, it is not Y, it is not Z. Everybody is clear about it is not X, it is what Y, it is not Z, right? Please give me a thumbs up, put on your video, give me a thumbs up, do something. Because be clear about these three things. Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, very good. Thank you. Okay, so now let's work on this. It is not X or Y or Z. Then what is it? There is only one way of knowing. There is only one way of understanding anything, and that is to proceed from something you know. What is it you know? You know your own experiences of the past. You already know this. You already lived through that. So you know them. So we are going to use those experiences of the past to understand what is renunciation. Okay, so next paragraph. Who will read the next paragraph? Well, what have you learned? You can find out by studying your own past experiences in life. How will we know renunciation? Not by all this analysis, but by studying our own past. So come on, let us see what is our past. You will say, how does everybody have the same past? Yes, we all have the same past. Let's read it. Who's going to read the next paragraph?
Shall I read?
Please.
Yeah, the highest value, the greatest mission in life is the discovery of the Supreme Self within. He who
Where
has
are
said,
you?
Yeah. Am I audible?
You are audible, but this is not the right paragraph. Omkar?
Okay.
Previous paragraph.
On the screen, this was coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this one.
We have to study our own past, and our past is definitely not the Supreme Self. So there is no
Then if somebody has the text, they can read it from there. I don't have it in this. Maybe.
How can you not have the most important paragraph in the book? What happened here? Your text doesn't have it? Has it moved? What happened?
We have in your childhood you were attached to playthings.
Yes, yes.
You spent your time then acquiring and enjoying toys and trinkets. Now that you are grown up, you no longer value them. You treat them as trifles. You are preoccupied with other attractions, caught up with your family, name, fame, wealth, power. The childhood playthings do not hold your interest anymore. They drop off. You are said to have renounced them. What determines your dispassion towards your childhood interests? What ascertains that spirit of renunciation? Carefully analyze the cause. It is not your physical parting from playthings, not your dispossession or non-enjoyment, nor limitations in their possessions or enjoyment. You may possess them even join your children at times, enjoy playing with them, and yet claim to have renounced them because you do not treasure them anymore. They are not worth anything to you. You no longer credit them with any merit. Your interest has risen to greater heights. As you graduate to higher values of life, you automatically drop your interest. Value further lower. You grow out of it. That spirit of inner abstraction or resignation is the crux of renunciation. Thus, renunciation follows one's growth in personality, founded by knowledge established in the higher values of life. So, renunciation is not giving up on your own. It is you have enjoyed the thing, but now you know you are no longer attached to it. So you can enjoy whatever is there, but when you grow, you have automatically grown out of it. So it is your growth.
Okay. So, yeah, thank you. The way to do it is to compare your past with the concept of renunciation. Right? So what is our past? All of us enjoyed playing with toys at one stage. Now, as a grown-up, what value do you have to those very toys which you used to play with? You have no value, no interest in them. Now, this status that you are grown up, can you define it in terms of those toys? For instance, can you say you're a grown up simply because you do not have toys in your house? Can you say that? It is possible that there are some toys in your house. Can you say that you are a grown up because you do not contact those toys which are in your house? No, it's possible that you may have children or grandchildren in the house, and sometimes you play with those toys with your children and grandchildren. Right? So you're contacting them. So is there some moderation in the kind of contact you are allowed to have with it? No, as an adult, there is no question of moderation. You can play with toys as much as you want. Right? There are 16,000 wives, 16,000 plates of food. Then what converts this concept into renunciation? What makes you an adult who has grown up from toys? Is it not having them? Is it not enjoying them? Is it enjoying them in moderation? None of these make you an adult. What makes you an adult is the fact that you have no value for that thing, or you have the right value for that thing. Both of this mean the same. You do not, suppose you are playing some game with your child, and then your boss calls. Will you say, sorry, I have to finish my game. I'm about to win the Taj Mahal in Monopoly, and so I can't talk to you now. Will you say that to your boss? The very crucial part of this game, boss, I can't talk now. Will you say that? Why will you not say that? Because you have no value for all of this. Do you care whether you win or lose? When you lose with your child, do you go back and cry and promise yourself that next time I will win this game? You do all that. You tell your friends that rascal, he always beats me in this game. That's how you talk, right? Do you want to win that game? Now, what makes you an adult is the fact that you have lost what?
Value.
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 Value for it. That is what determines your state of adulthood. Have you seen those babies, sometimes little small children, they wear a suit and those long pants, and they will look very cute. A 5-year-old child in wearing adult's clothes, or wearing mummy's clothes, or carrying the bag, they look so cute. They think they become an adult because they are doing all these things. That is not what confers adulthood on you. Adulthood is only the absence of value for those erstwhile toys. That's all it is. As long as you value it, as long as you give it black market value, you consider it to be the be all, the end all of your existence. You think that by gaining it or losing it, something great is going to happen in your life. As long as any of this is there, renunciation is not. Okay, so he'll explain further. So far, so good. What have we learned over here? That your status of being grown up is not confirmed by any definition that includes the toys. Not being secluded from them, not enjoying them, not contacting them in moderation. Excuse me. But having lost the value for them. Lost the value for them means that you don't long for them. When they are not there, you don't want them to go. When they are there, you have no relationship with them. You don't feel I've lost the game, so next time I'm going to win it. Oh my God, I lost the game. My life is destroyed. Thing is happening. People will come, people will go. You will gain some things, you will lose some things. There will be success in few of your ventures. There will be failure in few of your ventures. Normal life. When you're able to look upon your normal life as you look upon the toys of your past, that is the state of renunciation. Pravesh, it may be loss of interest rather than loss of value. Loss of interest is loss of value. When you're not interested in anything, you've lost the value for it. It's the same thing. When you have no desire for it, you will have no value for it. Your value for anything is only your desire for it. If you say, this is very important, means you have a desire for that. If you say, being married is very important, that means you desire it. If money is very important, means you desire it. Coming first in class is very important, you desire it. There is no value other than the desire behind it. Okay, Pravesh?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Who will read the next paragraph? Komal, you can read the next one since Omkar has it.
Yes. The highest value, the greatest mission in life is the discovery of the supreme self within. He who has set self-realization as his goal in life pursues it with faith and conviction, has no attraction for worldly possessions and enjoyment. Name and fame means nothing to him. Wealth and power do not lure him. He does not get enmeshed in family affairs. He understands the ephemeral nature of all that all the world offers, be it wealth or enjoyment. If he needs to possess or contact them, he does so with inner abstraction. Others may not recognize his mental resignation towards them. Thus, renunciation could be defined as disinterested interest, dispassionate passion towards the world. The Tamil scripture refers to that state in striking terms, thangamalam thunge, asleep yet not sleeping. So, like outward, your outward actions or outward playing with something or enjoying the worldly things doesn't mean that you really have value for them. Inside, you may not have value for them, but outwardly, since you are in the world, since you are contacting everybody, so you may feel, it seems like that you are interested in them, but inside you know that you are detached and you have no value for them, just for the sake of it you are doing. Like you are sleeping, but yet not sleeping, asleep. To the people, it looks like you are awake, but inside you are sleeping and you're just doing it as a dream, as if everything is happening in a dream. That's what
So
I understood.
why is it that you have no value for everything that's happening in the world?
Because they are of not real value. They are they are going to go one day, and they are not truth.
That is very sad. You can't say that. I know you're going to go, so I'm not valuing. But somebody can argue opposite, right? I know it's going to go, so therefore I should have value for it.
Yeah.
So you can argue the other way around also. But why
Yeah.
is it that he has no value for the world?
Growth is there.
Value is on the
Because
higher.
he is-
For the self.
Because he knows something is more important than this. These are all
Yeah, because he has value for the self.
for the self.
When you have the right value, when you value the right things, you no longer value the other things.
Yeah, ephemeral things.
And then when you realize that, and when you understand it, once you don't value it, you understand it's ephemeral.
Yeah.
As long as you value it, you do not accept it as ephemeral. It's a very interesting thing. You can see no fact about it if you have this black market value for something. You just can't. We just can't seem to see it. Suppose you have a black market value for a person who treats you badly. You think this person is great. That person is very abusive towards you, is emotionally troubling you or whatever. And you have a lot of value. As long as you have that desire that this person must appreciate me or like me or whatever the desire is with reference to that person, can't see that the person is treating you badly. Just can't see it. Because the stronger the desire, the less the facts are available to our vision. I mean, there are women whose husbands have beaten them up. And other way around also. Men whose wives have beaten them up. But instead of saying you've gone mad or something, you're not allowed to beat me, they make excuses or they say, no, abhi ye hai, abhi wo hai, main kya karoon. Silly stuff. I mean, like, when will we see things for what they are? You just can't. I mean, I'm giving you an extreme example to show that even when someone is beating you up, nobody has a right to beat you, right? As an adult, nobody has a right to beat you. I guess that's clear to everyone. Even then, you say, no, he loves me so much. I will, okay. I mean, like, you can't see it. So this desire is a terrible, terrible thing. So that's why we have to, with knowledge, increase our value for the more important things. When we do that, when we understand what is more important through knowledge and therefore value it, the desires for the lower start wearing away. And as that parda, this great covering comes down, you start seeing things for what they are. Suppose there is a person for whom you do 100 and that person does 1 or 2 and tells you, see how much work I'm doing for you. You should be able to see, no, the other person can't see, that's their problem. But it is, you should be able to see what you have done for that person. But no, we can't. We say, oh, that person did 1 and 2 and they said also they did 1 and 2. I feel so bad, I have not done enough. Pagal, okay, you have done 100, that person has done 2. So the more the desires, the more blurred our vision. Some people think, I have to have a job, I have to have a job. Why do you think you have to have a job? What is this mad obsession with jobs people have? No, I have to have a job, I have to have a job. How will I feed my family? So people who don't have a job don't feed their family. No, we have all these obsessions. And it's impossible to break through. Momita, what if we have knowledge of the higher but are surrounded by toy-playing children who we have obligatory duties to? Do we regress? No. You cannot regress ever. That is a good part about spiritual life. You simply can't regress. If you do regress, it means you had never progressed. In other words, suppose you started orphanage one day. Okay? And you're all the time surrounded by these children. Will you start now becoming a child and enjoying. You also are going to Barbie to shops and saying, oh, that Barbie doll, I want that Barbie doll. And if one of the children say, I want the Barbie doll, you say, how dare you, it's mine. Did you ever do that? Impossible. So you cannot regret. But during your sadhana, if you surround yourself with negative influences, it will pull you down. So it's like when the tree is young, when you plant a sapling, you put that, what is it called, that fence around it, when the sapling is young. But when the tree has grown, then this fence around it is useless. It will handle all the storms. It doesn't have to worry. But that sapling cannot handle the storms. If the fence is not there, it will be knocked down. So now you cannot always surround yourself with the right people, right? So you surround yourself with who can answer that question.
The scriptures, knowledge.
Okay, that also not, you can't all the time surround yourself with scripture. You surround yourself with
Satsang.
Satsang.
Wisdom.
People who share your goal.
Conducive environment.
Always be available. Huh?
Conducive environment.
May not be available.
Your critics.
Good
Thoughts
idea.
of the higher.
Huh?
Thoughts of the higher.
Yeah, no, you have to protect. The thought of the higher is your sapling. So how are you going to protect it?
Awareness.
Yeah, I mean, losing the awareness, the winds of passion is the problem. So how are you going to protect it?
Morning studies.
Okay.
Abstinence.
Okay, you can answer any of these, but the real way you protect your sadhana, you protect the thought of the higher at all times, because what you are saying is not wrong, you're all correct answer. But the thing is, when they're not available, then what are you going to do?
Good books.
Not available. Of course, that's what they're saying, satsang and good books and things like that. Yes, of course. It's not always available, right?
Silence.
Bhakti.
Silence.
The introvert.
That's what you're protecting. You
Be vigilant over your thoughts.
Being focused on your goal.
And that's what you're protecting. All these things are taking you away from your goal. What did you say, Mamita?
To be vigilant.
I mean, yeah, so that's the fence. So what are you being vigilant towards?
Any thought that is anti or different.
Yeah, but during sadhana, it's a sapling. These storms that brew around can knock it down. So therefore, you learned it in the Ramayana.
Lakshman Rekha.
Lakshman Rekha, very good. Maryada. That Lakshman Rekha you will not cross. For whatever reason in the world, you have decided. So that's why during the, traditionally they say you take the vows and, it's the discipline that you have bound yourself in. You have taken a vow that I will not do this, or I will whatever. You've committed to some acts, and you will perform those acts. So those things are a great protection for us when it comes to. That is why, in religious life, you may have seen like the ashrams that you went to, the very, very strict rules. कि 4 बजे उठना है तो 4 बजे ही उठना है. And no fooling around over there. Very, very strict rules. It's like you take this vow, they call it the vow of brahmacharya. Take, ye karenge hi. So when you draw these very, very firm lines of commitment, like I don't eat on a Monday, for instance, suppose you say. You can put anything, no matter what you put. But these are the things which protect your mind when sadhana is young. that you have this strong commitment to certain acts, which are called rituals normally, which you will do come hell or high water. So, so then you cannot use the logic, oh, but Vedanta says that you must use your intellect and do it at the right time, right place. And you can't use all that logic. Because what you're doing is you're basically putting an armor on yourself. And this armor is going to help you when times go bad. So you have to know what you have to apply where. That's always a big problem.
And this is separate from Karma Yoga?
Of course, absolutely. Karma Yoga is learning to be of service, extending yourself in service. The vows are your commitment to certain actions. You may do that in karma also. I mean, you may use the vow for karma, like as you have taken. You say, I'm raising X amount of money, then come hell or high water, I'm doing that. Or you say, I'm calling an X amount of people to say whatever I'm saying, come hell or high water, then you do that. So you have bound yourself to certain acts. Normally in spiritual life, they give these things. Now, when you come to Vedanta, the problem is we are doing this all upside down. By the time you come to Vedanta, the concept is your mind is already mature. And so therefore Vedanta removes all these. They remove the fences. Because now you're on your own, do your stuff. But many people come to Vedanta without having done all that. In which case you have to put the fence. Otherwise, it won't work. It will become just justification of everything the mind wants to do. So first it is...
So follow the rules.
Follow the rules, yeah. You have to follow the rules to come to a state where without the rules you can live up to character.
That's why Rama came before Krishna.
That's why Rama came before. You're Maryada Purushottam, then you can be naughty like Krishna.
Same thing like in Patanjali, Yam and Niyam, they come in the beginning.
Yeah. Because you have to have that much control on yourself, no? Then you can remove the fences. Then you can say, no, my intellect says don't do this or do it. You can pick up the fence and throw it in the bin. But first the fence has to be in place. Yeah, Bharat?
Yeah, so Janki-ji, as per the last paragraphs, renunciation means putting the correct value on things, right? So one may have no value for something mentally, but the situation may warrant a very aggressive stand from you. So I mean, as given by the example of Krishna in the battlefield, he had no value for it, but so that is also a consideration, right? I mean, you may need to put up a very aggressive stand towards something.
That is not a consideration. That is the only consideration. The situation is the only consideration. What else are you going to consider? In life, what we do as normal people is we don't consider that situation. We consider what is in our minds when we do anything.
How is it going to benefit me?
Yeah, my desire. That's all I'm concerned with. If you're going to help, if this is going to fulfill my desire, I do it. If it's not going to fulfill my desire, I don't do it. That's all I'm concerned with as a normal human being. But a renunciate is concerned with the situation. What does the situation require? A normal human being will say, I want to build the Vedanta University. A renunciate will say, the situation requires that a Vedanta University be built or not built, whatever the concept of the matter is. It's just a situational need that they are dealing with. They have no personal interest in it whatsoever. It means nothing to them. Something is needed to be done and they do it. So there's nothing other than the situation they're ever looking at. And whatever is required by the situation, they do. Aggressive, passive, whatever it is that's required.
Yes, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so